I'm Shiva.
I'm Sandy.
And this is
Our Relaxing Hobby. Today's episode we're going to be talking about fish feeding.
Yes.
Or how you
feeding your fish.
Yep.
Something everybody has to do.
No, I don't feed my fish.
Never. And they tell you.
Yeah, they tell me
you
a lot
that every day.
Yeah, your fish you don't get fed a lot either. Yeah. Because they tell me all the time that they never.
Yeah, we never feed our fish.
Yeah.
Actually, that should be the first thing we start off with. Is it is very, very hard to actually starve your fish.
Yes.
Unless you actually do never feed them. It's hard to starve a fish.
Yeah,
I mean,
they can go days.
Oh, they can go longer than days. We had Bonnie with that pleca stuck in her mouth.
Oh yeah,
and she was about 3 weeks to a month with a pleca stuck in her mouth. She couldn't eat, and we're like scared to death she was gonna, wither away and die on us.
No. And then there was the pleca that was stuck in the
liner.
In the liner, and then there was the pleca that you had stuck
in the sump.
Stuck in the sump, but he had food there. Yeah.
Yeah. So fish can go a long time without eating. So. Whenever we're joking about our starving fish, it's just because of their behavior.
Well, actually, even when it comes to things that I forgot, when we had the hurricanes, I was gone for almost 2 weeks because I had no power in my house, and the fish were there, and they were not one died, not one. I had no power, nothing. And
you had little guppies too.
I had little guppies, but I didn't even have aeration for the first 4 days when I was gone.
But you had plants.
Yeah, we had plants. So yeah, they survived. The plants are very important if you're going away.
Oh yeah.
Put in some live plants.
Or that helps with your aeration too, with the photosynthesis.
Right. And yeah, we another good option, I guess. If you're going to if you're gonna have your friends come over.
Yeah, basically
have it be me.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I will come over to your home.
Think that if they're going over for a weekend. Oh, I need to have somebody feed my fish. Okay, if it's just a weekend, no, you don't.
No, you don't. Yeah, they're gonna be fine.
But
honestly.
if you're gonna be taking an extended trip, like if you're gonna be gone for a week or two, you might want to have somebody check up on your fish. If anything, just to make sure the filters are clean, make sure that the
filters are running.
Right,
actually,
running.
That was an issue with. I had I won't go into too much detail, but I had a friend that their filter died, their pumps, everything died, and they lost power and they lost all their fish.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the type of fish you have too. I mean, guppies. My guppies were pretty indestructible. So.
Right. Now the problem with this is having just any old friend come over to take care of your fish is that unless your friend is really good with fish keeping, they're not going to know how to. I'm lucky.
You are lucky with me.
Yes, I'm very lucky that I have Sandy because she knows fish. And she's seen my routine enough. She doesn't necessarily keep the same types that I do. She keeps these little guppies and I keep these monster fish. Right. But she is familiar enough with my fish to have an idea of how to feed them.
And again, I mean, if you're like you did, I know your fish and I know your routine, but the fact that she made those notes actually helped me. So if you are going away and you have multiple types of fish, notes aren't a bad thing. And
what I did was I took some, like index cards and whatnot,
index cards,
and wrote down on and pasted them on or taped them on each aquarium, so she knew exactly how much to put in
and what types of food. Because certain foods for certain fish, as you'll see later for her fish, she has different types of food that go in the different tanks. So. Luckily she did that, so I wasn't stressed at all. I saw it was very easy to follow. Now, so I mean, if you have multiples, that's always a good day. But
now another thing is that people's ideas of measurements are wrong. What somebody considers a pinch is just like a little and some people consider this a pinch.
Right. So you met my mother.
Yeah. So if you are going to have a friend come over, make sure that you define what a pinch is for them, preferably in person.
Yeah, show them at least once.
Yeah, show them once. Or another thing I've actually heard somebody do this. They took like little tiny plastic baggies that people use for jewelry and whatnot, and they actually distributed the pinches in there how many days they were gone and put them in a box for them.
That's a little hyper for fish.
It's a little hyper for fish, but that's what somebody had to do because they didn't trust that their friend knew what a pinch was.
Right.
So if you can, have your friend come over like a day or two before you leave and show them your routine so they can get an idea of what. And warn your friend that the fish are going to tell you that that's not enough food.
Right. Because fish are voracious eaters. Is a good.
They're voracious eaters, and they're really good at begging.
They will make you think they've never eaten before. I mean, I literally fed my guppies, went by them, and I swear to God, they were convinced I'd never fed them before in their lives. Yeah, well, the koi practically hold up signs. We never eat. Yeah. They've convinced Sandy that I never feed them. No. I'm pretty sure, but that's I've got their backs now.
So that's the first thing when it comes to feeding. Is just really quick.
And,
if you're going to go away,
overfeeding is always bad. I don't know if we talked about that yet.
We're going to be talking about overfeeding next, but I just wanted to get
get the friend feeding because you're not a big fan of the feeders.
No, I'm not.
Because you don't think they're needed. I've used one once. I was gone for 2 weeks and I did use one once because we didn't have any friends in the neighborhood. We had just moved there. We were going on vacation right after we moved. And so I was going to be gone for 2 weeks, so I did use a fish feeder, and it worked. I mean, I'm sure it worked. I mean, but it was, I was gone for 2 weeks, so I wasn't really.
I'm not a fan because I don't trust them.
Yeah.
I really don't.
And like I said, but if you're only gone for a few days, even a weekend, 3 or 4 days, your fish are going to be fine.
Yeah. But I've seen like those beta feeders that you're supposed to throw in the bottom of your tank for a weekend, and they're huge. And I'm like, okay, I don't know a beta that eats that much food, which means it's disintegrating and it's going to the bottom of the tank.
A good thing to kind of keep in the back of your mind for feeding is whatever they can eat, and for the guppies it's 3 to 4 minutes. Whatever they can eat in 3 to 4 minutes, and I think you said your koi.
I say within 5.
Within 5.
But they can polish off what I give them in less than a minute.
Right, and that's the max, and that's almost overfeeding. I mean, like I said, I put mine in and. Usually takes them about a minute and a half to finish, and that's plenty because, again, if you feed a little bit less, they're a little bit more active because they're searching for food.
Right.
I mean, it appears to us as they're begging. I mean, okay, her fish begged. My fish just are searching for food, and it makes them a little bit more active. So I enjoy that. I enjoy they move around more. If they've eaten too much, they become very lethargic and they just lay there.
Now, there's a lot of problems with overfeeding, and overfeeding is really easy to do.
Yes.
So,
we've all been guilty of it.
Yeah, we all been guilty of it because at first you fall for the begging, or you think, oh, that's not enough food, look how fast they finished it. You learn really quick, don't overfeed. Underfeeding's better than overfeeding.
Yeah, I mean, it causes other problems in the tank.
Right.
So
the biggest problem it causes is all that uneaten food gets into your substrate and starts rotting away.
Yep.
And all of a sudden
or gets in your filter and clogs it. I've had that happen for the smaller fish. I don't know if that happens in your big tank, but in my little tank, if you put too much food in there, it'll actually get into the filter and clog it.
Right, and so all of a sudden you got all this rotting food at the bottom of your tank underneath the gravel, and you're going to be doing like a lot of tank cleaning, or you're going to be toxifying the water.
I'll say it also you have to change the water because it literally will make the water nasty and it kills them.
Now there are some ways to kind of try to curtail this a little bit, but they are not full solutions, and that's by using bottom feeders, shrimp, plectos, koi catfish,
which we use all of those.
Yeah, we use all of these. They help. They help eat all the uneaten
But still, you
food,
still don't want to overfeed.
Get it all.
Yeah, you don't want to overfeed. So
so
it does sink in between the rocks and between the things that they can't get to. So.
But a lot of beginners just think, oh, I'll just throw a pleco in there and he'll do my job for me. No, he'll clean some of it, but he's not going to get it all.
Right.
Same with shrimp.
Catfish, they're great bottom feeders. They'll clean some of that up. But not all of it. If you overfeed all the time, it's going to mess with your tank, and you're going to be doing more cleanings. You're going to lose more fish. Smaller fish they're more susceptible to dying if you have the dirty water or the contaminated water. So I'm really careful with that with mine. Yeah.
The other thing you consider is how much people describe things and how a beginner might hear it. Like when I was first introduced to using shrimp as a cleaning tool, everyone's like, shrimp are great. They'll eat anything. So I'm thinking, okay, so I can throw like 5 shrimp in my 55-gallon tank. And that'll be the end of it. No. You need like 250 shrimp in your 55-gallon tank for it to really
make a big difference. I mean, and mine, it was cute because I bought a dozen for my tank. I had a little algae bloom, and everybody said, hey, they help clear up algae blooms relatively quickly. So I decided to try some shrimp. I bought 12 shrimp.
How big was your tank?
20. It was only 20 gallons. So they actually helped. I mean, I still did a water change. Don't get me wrong, but they actually did help. My algae bloom went away much quicker than it normally would.
Yeah,
but I have one shrimp left, and he's the indestructible shrimp. The others have all over time have passed on, but he's just there by himself. I haven't bought any more since then, but.
Well, mine usually get eaten after a
while. Your fish eat things.
Unless they're big.
Yeah, my fish are the same size as the shrimp.
Yeah, I've got a couple big fish, big shrimp left in my roe fish tank, but everybody else turned into a seafood dinner.
Yeah.
So you have to keep that in mind too.
Fish are like killers, and they will eat them.
Well, I have predatory fish.
Yeah.
But you have to keep that in mind too. If you're going to use shrimp, keep in mind what kind of fish
you have.
If you've got like an Oscar, or if you've got like any type of predatory
or a fish,
any type of predatory fish, those shrimp are you just send them to Red Lobster,
Yeah, free dinner. But but no, I mean they do have their uses. I mean they actually did a great job cleaning up the original algae bloom.
Right, but you know that they're not doing everything.
Right.
You still have to do maintenance on your tank. These are not going to do the job for you.
And we do our maintenance, we'll talk about that in another episode, but yeah, there is maintenance required.
Yeah, we do maintenance about once a week.
So,
but yeah, you don't make the mistake like a lot of people do, thinking that you can just throw in a couple plecos, a bunch of quarries,
or a catfish, and you're good to go.
And yeah, you don't have to touch your. Oh yay! I don't have to clean
now
my
it can go like for a well-balanced tank. Honestly, it can go several weeks, sometimes up to a month. Like my tank, I could go almost a month without doing a water change or any maintenance because the smaller fish, it takes a little bit more for them to get the levels that your fish get rather quickly.
Right.
So, I had a very well-balanced tank, so I had to just, I took a couple gallons out every week or so just to put fresh water in there, just to raise it up from the evaporation. But, and I would clean the sides of the tank, but that was only maybe once a month thing for me.
Right,
where
you also raise guppies. Now,
right, it's a little different for each type of fish, so you kind of have to...
I raise carp, which are your goldfish, your koi, things like that. They are notorious excretors. So there is all kinds of fish poop and pee in that aquarium all the time, which is why I have to do 50%, at least 50% water change every week. Because the type of fish I have... And
the more you feed them, guess what happens? The more they poop.
So the type of fish I have require higher maintenance than her little
Right. So just, but
so
yeah, that's really about
food
feeding. Yeah, I mean, you just got to kind of watch what you're doing. I mean, every fish has its own little quirks. I mean, I've seen what was the eel? Eel would eat goldfish, little baby goldfish, which, they would leave pieces of the little baby goldfish.
And you want
so you can't want that. So you mean just kind of gotta temper what you're owning, what you're feeding, I mean, there's a lot of little rules, but I mean, it's relatively easy once you get in a routine. It's honestly.
Right.
It takes all of a minute to get it. Well, okay. In Shiva's case, it takes about 10 or 15 minutes because she has like 14 tanks here. I know there's not that many, but it seems like that many some days.
Yeah, it depends on your tank. But the bottom line is you don't want all that uneven food at the bottom of your tank. Sometimes if there's an uneven eaten pleco wafer or something that's been disintegrating, I can take a fine net and scoop it out. Same with like goldfish pieces or something like that.
Right.
But honestly.
Overfeeding is bad.
Overfeeding is bad, and that's
I mean, that's really the gist of it. Overfeeding is bad. I mean, you want to put just enough that they eat it within a few minutes, and move about their day, and they're active and they're healthy.
Yep.
I mean, overfeeding also makes them unhealthy. I mean, if there's too much food in there, and they eat too much, they get bloaty and they get
Right. Which brings me to my our next topic, which is varying their diets.
Okay. Yeah. You vary yours more. Mine are pretty much.
Yeah.
This is more of bigger fish.
Important for bigger fish, but smaller fish can.
Yours
eat plants.
Right, they eat plants. There's certain plants that mine really like that I don't put in my tank too often because they will polish them off in a day.
Basically, and it's hard to describe how, but it makes a fish healthier if you have a varied diet.
Yeah.
With the koi, I will give them, flakes. I'll give them the pellets. I'll give them plants. I will give them fruits and vegetables and whatever else I can get them to eat that's safe for them to eat.
Tadpoles
for more protein. The more protein diet will help them grow. So if you don't want like massive koi all of a sudden, then stick to the plants, fruits and vegetables. But basically, you want to vary the diets, but you also want to make sure of what they can and can't eat.
Right.
Different fish can't eat some things. So do your research.
Right.
And do your research with trusted resources. Don't just go online to some, fish community group and say, hey, what should I feed this fish? Because you'll have people give you a million different answers, and so 2 of them are going to be wrong. And you're going to end up with sick or dead fish. So,
and research more than one site, more than one site, kind of,
Yeah, go to professionals, talk to pet stores, find out what they're feeding them. You want to do that anyway.
Well, they go to aquarium. I don't know about pet stores.
Well, you want to find out wherever you get your fish. You want to find out what they've been feeding them.
Right.
And if it's a really special
I'm leery
diet,
of pet stores because some of the people at regular pet stores don't really know a lot about fish. So I would say it depends on the person, I guess. But I stick with aquariums.
I'm talking specifically when you get a new fish and the fish is used to one diet. It probably helps you know what they eat. Now, they might not necessarily be feeding them the right things. I mean, I know people who will try to feed ropefish flakes, and that doesn't work out very well, which might explain why my ropefish were extremely happy and why they run away
they were
from
very
other people.
underweight when you first got them. Very, all of them. All of them. Different times you got them.
Yeah. So
within a couple of weeks, they gained weight. They looked healthier. They were moving around. Yeah.
So do your research. We have several books on different aquarium fish and koi and whatnot, and we also belong to groups. We also know what websites to go to, and we also have a really good aquarium store in our area who will give us some pointers if we've got a fish that's not eating something or whatever.
Right, right.
Varying their diets is important.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Not as much, I mean, like the small fish, I mean, yeah, I mean, I put live plants there and I vary those up because they do occasionally like to eat the plants.
And that's why they're
Yes,
naturally varying their
some fish will eat more plants than others. I mean, it depends on the plants. I mean, I put one type of plant there they don't touch, but yet I put another plant in there and they eat it like they've never eaten before. So, and I don't put that plant in there very often because then they eat too much. But I mean, every type is different, and it's kind of a learning curve. Try different live plants; they're actually very good, you know, for oxidation. And also, like I said, some fish eat them.
Yeah.
So
and that helps vary their diet, and that keeps you having healthy fish.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you know, that pretty much we'll show you some video of Shiva feeding her.
Yeah, we're going to show my routine.
I think I shot some of mine too. It's not quite as exciting because I'd already fed mine, so I just gave them a little bit to kind of show you.
Yeah, I actually starved my fish just for this video. So
yeah, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that part, so I didn't starve mine. Because mine ate earlier, way earlier. So.
Yeah, mine were completely starved.
Yeah, they were very unhappy with you.
They were.
But no, but yeah, so I think we have video of everything. We'll show them, and we'll go from there. Now, don't forget to go to our page, and if you have any comments or questions, by all means put that in there.
Yeah. Don't forget to follow us if you like our show, and that'll notify you anytime we have a new show coming up. We'll probably have some fish bites coming up here soon too.
And we should do another outtake reel. That'll the whole first 20 minutes of this show.
And then if you really like our show and you want to help support us, we have a Patreon page now where you can become one of our fish supporters. We got all kinds of perks.
Which we would love for you to do that. Help us out.
And the link,
future episodes in exciting places.
Yeah, the link is right below. So consider all that because we'd love to have you do that too, as well. And we will see you for the next episode.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Hello, babies. Princess likes you don't want to overfeed. They get very excited, like they've never eaten before. See, mine are much smaller and harder to see than Shiva's. And I'd already thrown in some pleco wafers earlier so they don't get more. Alright, but there's mine. Very calmly. Everybody's calm, mostly. You know, but they did have a little bit of snack earlier, so I kind of cheated. Because it's past their breakfast time. But there's mine. Alright, Shiva's morning routine, take 2. Alright, we're just watching.
These are the mealworms for the rockfish. I use flippers. And you get these, they're basically sold as reptile food, dried lizards and whatnot. But rockfish love them. So, I'm going to open the new can first. I'm going to come in a convenient top.
Gross.
That's what they look like. We also give these as treats to the koi. Koi love them. Once you open a can, you have to refrigerate it though. So
she has an actual top she puts on it to refrigerate it safely.
Yep.
Go her.
This is our food setup. We use just regular pond flakes. We use sinking pellets. These are shrimp pellets. I use them as treats for the koi, but Corey catfish also love them. This is tropical fish food, the flakes, of course the floopers. Koi noms are actually koi vibrants, which is a floating food for koi, and then pleco wafers, which anybody who's ever owned a pleco knows exactly what these are. So that's our lineup as far as what kind of food we get. Altogether, I've learned that places like Amazon are your best friend when it comes to finding, because some of these things, like this thing, it costs you like $8 or $9 at a pet store. It costs $3 and something at Amazon. So shop around, buy in bulk. I buy in bulk. It saves money in the long run. Big bags of koi food, find a good price on them, jump on that shit. Alright, so the first thing I do is I open up all the tanks here. I generally do tanks first, and then I do koi, and then I do outside. So we're opening them up. And I'm going to start with who gets flakes. These are for goldfish and type of carp. We've got our fantails here, so they get that. And I've got our tropical flakes. We've got rams and rasboras in here, so they get tropical flakes. We've got some new peppers in here, and so they get tropical flakes. And I've got some loaches in here along with some tories, so they get tropical flakes since they're running out of snails to eat. And that's the tropical flakes. And then we have our sinking food, sinking goldfish food. This is specialty. Usually people give it to babies. I'm giving it to my ill fantails. The idea, this is great.
Yeah, they look really ill.
They do when they're not
I know. I have footage of them laying still, but yeah. I'm just saying.
But basically, another trick for this is if you have a fish that has swim bladder issues or is gulping too much air on the surface, this will force them to not eat from the surface. I spread it around. These guys will get it later because they eat in flakes. But they get that. So the sinking food is good for any times when you have fish that surface feed that get too much air, swim bladder issues, ill fish that can't do the swim up to the surface. These work. Okay. Shrimp pellets. I don't give these to my quarries that often. I'm doing it right now because we're filming them all. But I just toss a few of them in there. They will eventually sink. Of course, the goldfish are going to eat these right up. But you just need a few of them. You don't want a whole bunch of them. They're kind of like treats for your quarry catfish. They also make great treats for the quarry. Okay, and now we're at the warm section of the day. I get this big ass long spoon that I use. Now, these just...
Oh wait, I use my fingers when I cut them. I'm just teasing.
But if you're taking it right out of the fridge, what you're going to want to do is get a cup of water, like a Dixie cup of water, put some of them in there, let them get to the temperature of the water before you toss them in, otherwise the fish will be like, why are you throwing us popsicles? But since these just came out of the pantry, they're already at room temperature. So, dumping a bunch of them in there for the ropefish, and since the ropefish have decided that they kind of like two different places to eat, I'm making sure that the worms get to where they like to eat. Once you've had a ropefish for a couple days, you'll figure out where they want to eat. And Sam's going to knock everything.
Yeah, well.
Next up is pucker wafers. These things.
Staple of any.
Yeah.
Any
staple
fish.
Of any aquarium.
Any aquarium.
Since I've got a bunch of babies in here, tossing two in here because we have been neglecting their ears as much. These guys have got rhino pleco babies as well as full-grown rhino pleco. They don't mess around when it comes to these, so I throw in extra. I never have leftovers with those guys. In this tank I've got a few bristle-nosed adults, like this one here, and so I just toss a few. I toss, at least one extra in here just simply because one of these goldfish is going to try to eat them. This is our pleco breeding tank, so I've got a bunch of babies in here. So I toss. Got mom and dad in here too, so I just toss a bunch in there. You'll be able to judge how much your plecos will eat a day. I only feed the plecos once a day. You'll be able to kind of judge how many to throw in there. Throw the extra in here. And that takes care of the tank section of today's demonstration. Now we go to koi and goldfish.
Do you still feed them over on this side? Okay, let me come over here and watch. At least now she gets her koi noms.
This is going to sound odd, but my plecos like the flakes. So the first thing we do is throw in some flakes and let those spread around. The koi are going to go trying to nom on those as fast as possible, but then I throw in the food that they like better. This is the koi vibrants. Again, depending on how many koi you have and what kind of eaters they are. For these guys, it's 5 scoops. I'm betting in a few months it'll be 6. But the
littles are growing really quickly.
Yeah, but you only want to throw in enough food that they can devour in 5 minutes. These guys can devour that in less than 5 minutes, which is fine. You don't want them growing it too fast. Do you hear me, little baby Karasu? Who are now like 7 inches. But yeah, you'll start seeing the plecos start going upside down to eat to eat those flakes that I threw in there for them.
Did you actually throw any pleco wafers in there for them?
Before you eat them, before the pleco
okay.
The reason, you know, if you have like an indoor pond or any pond that does not have a lot of algae, which is what the plecos generally eat, you're going to want to have something to supplement the plecos. So make sure that whatever flakes you use have algae in them. These do, which is why I use them. The plecos will eat the flakes. Sometimes they'll do it like mine do and go upside down and just eat them right off the surface. Other times they'll just wait for them to fall. But you want to make sure that you throw something in for any of your algae eaters if you have like an indoor pond or a really well-shaded pond where you don't have a lot of algae that they would eat naturally.
Alright, so now we're going to do the outdoor ponds feeding because, you know, Shiva never feeds fish, only when I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've got 4 different stations today. Our wonderful flakes again. But we also have more of the koi vibrants. I just keep it in a separate container since I'm not dragging a whole bag out here. These are goldfish, like common goldfish. I also have some guppies in here. So they get a little bit of flakes when the wind doesn't blow them. They get a little bit of flakes that the guppies will nom on, and very much like with the koi, goldfish will try to eat them at first until I give them what they really want. You can see them. The water's a little murky because I just threw in a new filter, but you can see those guys. We're going to nom down on those.
Okay.
Our next stop is the big pond.
Whew. Very bright out here.
Since this one is not shaded and has all kinds of algae, I don't worry about the guppies in here because they got plenty to eat. So these guys, you can see those beautiful colors on these guys. Yeah, this is why you don't keep goldfish in an aquarium, boys and girls. The longest of these guys is almost
those
a foot long.
feeder goldfish.
Yep. Those are the little feeder goldfish that you see for like, you know, 20 cents a piece. That's them at about 5.5 years old.
Yep. Oh boy, that's a great shot. So pretty with the light.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys are gorgeous, but they get big.
Okay.
Then we're taking our flake and going over to our little mill pond.
Alright, see if I can not kill myself walking down the stairs.
Here's our little rosy minnow pond, which is also where we're raising some tadpoles. And our little rosy minnows here like the flakes. So they get the flakes. Got a school of about 50 of them. Tadpoles like them too, so let's see if everybody realizes, oh yeah, nom time. It takes a while for them all to realize because the pond's huge and these things are just little...
Like the size of the fish in my tank.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a 300-gallon pond or something.
So it takes them a while to realize, oh yeah, it's feeding time.
Yeah. Oh, that one already knows.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, the bigger ones know exactly when it's feeding time. Yeah. But over the course of the next few minutes, the whole herd will eventually figure it out. But yeah, that little pond here's.
I don't want to film you. Here, come over. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Okay, what was that now? Let's go back in the shade.
That pond that we built. When was it? March.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like now.
We didn't build it. You built it by yourself. You're the woman.
Yeah, for us. Okay. Now we're going over to the outside tank.
Ow, hold. Apparently steps are too much for me this early in the morning.
Yeah, here's a fun tip. If you can find an old metal mailbox, they're great for storing food because they're waterproof.
Okay.
Yeah. Helpful hint. Yeah.
This is the tadpole tank.
Fish hack. Hashtag fish hack. Okay, this is the tadpole tank. I just throw them a few little flakes. That way they eat the flakes and not each other.
So those little things on, that's not eggs, is it?
No,
no, that's just pollen.
Yeah. But the thing about when you're raising tadpoles for feeder items is they will eat each other.
That's gross.
So you want to feed them so they don't eat each other. And then this is my hospital tank that I keep healthy by keeping it running, and I got a goldfish in here as well as some minnows. No goldfish is being
He's over here.
There he is. Come on out, say hi. He's a little baby goldfish.
Right there.
Yeah, I put him in here so he'd have a nice fighting chance. But I also keep plants in here that I raise for the for the salad for the boy.
Which is, we have the whole plant tank over, thing over on the other side too.
Yep.
Okay. That is your what?
That is my morning routine, and then Gareth does the same thing in the evenings.
Okay.